let's look at our second point now, and this is John knows his place. John knows his place, because at this point in the gospel, in the story that we read in John the Baptist, John the Baptizer's lively ministry is beginning to wane, and Jesus' ministry is getting started. And during this time of transition from John the Baptist to Jesus, there could have been a big problem. There could have been a bit of a to-do, a big dispute between the followers of John the Baptist and the followers of Jesus, and even perhaps between these two men. But instead, John the Baptist handled his decreasing popularity and Jesus's increasing popularity with the kind of humility and the kind of confidence that is typical, is expected of someone who knows their place, someone who knows their mission, someone who understands what they are called to do. Because John's disciples were confused. They didn't recognize who Jesus was, and therefore they didn't rightly understand their or John's role. They were concerned with John's popularity decreasing because they thought Jesus was the competition. They were concerned that their influence, their own influence, would decrease as people flocked to Jesus instead of John. And they didn't recognize who Jesus was. Why else would John need to point out to them who he was if they could have seen it for themselves? But John did. He recognized this man. So John's response to his disciples indicates that he didn't only recognize Jesus as the groom, like he said, but that he took great delight in the groom, like he was the best man at the wedding. He was honored to be his forerunner. He was so overjoyed that he could be the one who went before and got everything ready. He went to the reception and made sure all the food was in place, went to the place where the wedding's going to happen, make sure everything's as it should be. He was so happy that that could be his role. He wasn't struggling with feeling like he needed to defend his platform or his pride. He recognized who Jesus was, and it led him to rejoice that he got to know Jesus and to play this important role in the incredible story of redemption. John knew he didn't have to have the power, or he didn't have it. He could never have that power to bring ultimate joy and satisfaction. But, it's a big but, he could point to the one who could. He couldn't do it, but he could say, there he is, go to him. He's the one you need. And as it was true for John the Baptist, John the Baptizer, the same is true for us. When we recognize who Jesus is, it gives us clarity about our identity, our role in his story. It doesn't make us less important. If anything, it makes us more important. We get to point to the one who can do all this. But John's followers, they approach with this problem. More and more people go to Jesus. Jesus is getting more popular. People are less concerned about going to see you, John. Who is this man? Why are people going to him and not to you? What has he got that you haven't? Does Jesus' ministry mean that your work, John, is no longer effective? It doesn't work? Have you kind of run out of juice? You run out of power? Run out of influence? And again, maybe these disciples of John were worried that they weren't just going to have as important a role if their leader, their rabbi, is getting less important. So they go, whatever their motives, to John with their questions. And his response was seasoned with humility. This is a man who knows his place. He attributed the growth of Jesus' ministry to God and nothing else. He doesn't say, well, he's just got some really attractive platform. He's got some you know, he's just come across with better music or more flashy lights. He says, no, this is God who's doing this. This is from heaven. This isn't from men. This is something incredible that God is doing. And he knew that this ministry was designed to replace his own, because that is why he had this ministry, to get ready for the one who was coming after him. It's why he reminded his followers that he, John, wasn't the Messiah. That if you're looking to me to be the Messiah, I'm not the guy. This is the guy. And this is the remarkable thing about his response, is how content he is in recognizing who Jesus is, recognizing who he is and what his place is. He could be humble and he could be confident because he knew his role, to point people to the Messiah. Isn't that the same thing that's true of all of us?